What's up guys, my name is Ace, and this morning we got a hotfix for Warzone, which balanced some of the weapons, the DMR 14, the Type 63, the Mac 10, and the Diamattis again. And on top of this, they've also fixed the infinite tacticals glitch, where people were using stim shots and just hiding in the gas stimming constantly because they had unlimited stims. That has been fixed with this update. And in today's video, I wanted to go over the details and share before and after whenever possible here. And let's just hop right into it. The first thing they did is they fixed that pay-to-win, or arguably pay-to-win SMG, the Gallantry Blueprint for the Mac 10. Pre-patch, it actually had better stats than the base version of the gun, which isn't supposed to be happening. That has now been updated, so it deals the same amount of damage as the base Mac 10. Then, hopping into the DMR 14 and the Type 63, these are going to be the main focus of today's video. For both of these, they reduced their bullet penetration from sniper level bullet penetration down to assault rifle level, which makes a lot of sense since they use AR ammo and not sniper ammo, unlike the SKS and the EBR 14. Additionally, they added a damage drop-off, or apparently they reduced the damage drop-off, although when I did the testing, there was no damage drop-off range. Both of these dealt the same amount of damage at any range, but I think they snuck one in there in the last update, but didn't mention it, so none of us tested it, and we just assumed it was still the case. But they have reduced the damage ranges here, and you can see the damage drop-off points are actually fairly short, so these no longer have that insane range potential where they're dealing their maximum damage values, which is definitely going to help a lot with keeping both of these guns in check, and it also makes a lot more sense since, once again, these are using assault rifle ammo, and therefore they should have a damage drop-off range that's representative of assault rifles. And speaking of this damage drop-off, let's have a look at what changed with the damage values here. With the DMR 14, pre-patch, like I said, there was no damage drop-off, or at least none that I was able to find, and I tested out to about 300 meters as well. But pre-patch, it was 55 damage to the body and 60 to the upper torso. Apparently that 60 damage was also extending to the lower torso, which I didn't catch in my initial testing, but that lower torso multiplier has effectively just been removed at this point. Post-patch, we still have those same damage values up close. However, after that fairly short damage drop-off point, then we drop down to 48 base damage and 52 damage to the upper torso. Now, it's interesting with the DMR, as long as you're hitting upper torso, this actually doesn't change your number of shots to kill, even at longer ranges. You're still going to be killing in the same number of shots, but it's just going to be a lot less forgiving if you aren't hitting that upper torso. If you're hitting the lower torso, now it's often going to take you that extra bullet to kill. Like if the enemy doesn't have armor, for instance, instead of a 2-shot kill, it's now going to be a 3-shot kill. As for the Type 63, we see a really similar story, just with different values here. However, with this one, we actually do see a reduction to the number of shots it takes to kill to the upper torso beyond that damage drop-off point. So if the enemy is beyond 22.5 meters with the Type 63, and you're hitting the upper torso, it's going to take you 1 extra shot to kill if they have 2 or 3 armor plates equipped. Now, probably the more important part with this damage drop-off range that they've added here is what happens with headshots. Before this update, for the DMR 14, we dealt 112 damage to the head, and that was at pretty much all ranges, and with the Type 63, it was 124 damage to the head. Post-patch, we still deal those same damage values to the head up close, but now, once you get beyond that damage drop-off point for both of these guns, it's going to drop down to 98 damage, so less than 100 damage, and therefore you will no longer be able to get a one-shot kill on somebody that has full health but no armor plates. And this, combined with the other damage values that they've added beyond that damage drop-off point, will also make these guns a lot less effective when mixing body shots with headshots and trying to kill somebody that has full health and full armor equipped. So these guns are going to be much noticeably less effective at longer ranges now, and you won't be able to melt people quite as fast, at least not nearly as consistently. Technically, yes, you can still kill them as fast, but you have to land like every single bullet to the head, rather than mixing in headshots and body shots. But moving on, the DMR specifically also got a recoil nerf, which the Type 63 didn't get a base recoil nerf. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But for the DMR 14, let's have a look at pre-patch versus post-patch. And as you can see here, there is definitely a higher magnitude of recoil now post-patch. It's not a really significant change by any means, but if we're looking at challenging people at a pretty long range and we're really trying to hit those headshots or upper torso shots, it is going to be noticeably more difficult now after this patch. Now, additionally, for both the DMR 14 as well as the Type 63, they have nerfed the foregrips that reduce your recoil. Now, I don't have pre-patch recoil plots or anything for this, so I can't show you guys before and after, but I can show you guys the exact numbers here just from the patch notes from Raven. And it's pretty straightforward here. You can see exact percentage decreases. They actually did a really good job with the patch notes this time, which is great to see because at least within the context of Warzone and Modern Warfare, generally they are terrible with their patch notes, but these patch notes were actually quite solid. So props to them for that one. And yeah, you can see here that the grips are going to be a little less effective for you guys for both of these guns. Now finally for weapon balancing, let's move on to the Diamatti. Now with this one, for the base version of the gun, so this applies to both akimbo as well as the single version of the gun, they've reduced its maximum base damage from 45 down to 40. And essentially what this means is if we aren't hitting the upper torso multiplier, it's now going to take us 7 shots to kill against a full health and full armor enemy rather than 6, and this means it's going to take you at least 3 bursts now to get that kill. However, if we are still hitting those upper torso multipliers, we still have that 2 burst potential. We just have to be much more careful and precise with our shots. And I think this was a very appropriate nerf to the single version of the Diamatti. It was definitely a little bit on the powerful side, and this just tones it back a little bit and requires a bit more precision out of you. But on top of this, for the akimbo version of the Diamatti, they have eliminated the upper torso multiplier. So now you're dealing that 40 damage anywhere in the body. And this means even if you are getting those lucky upper torso hits while using the dual version of this gun, you're not getting any benefit out of that, and it's going to take you at least 7 shots to kill against a full health and full armored enemy. And with that, that covers it for all of the weapon balancing that happened with this update. One last thing they mentioned in their patch notes here is they have cleaned up some of the challenges that weren't appearing or tracking properly in-game. Apparently, they have cleaned some of those up and just fixed them up, so they should be tracking properly now. And with that, that's going to wrap it up for today's quick video on the hotfix that we just got for Warzone. I believe this is going to be changing up the meta this time around, especially with those range drop-offs for the DMR and the Type 63. And it looks like finally DMRzone should be over at this point. Also, it's really good that they fixed that tactical equipment glitch because that was just completely ruining Warzone, even for the people that liked the DMR meta. Of course, I'd like to know in the comment section below, what do you guys think about these nerfs? Do you think they were enough? Do you think they were an appropriate nerf? Or do you feel like they took anything too far? Just let me know all of those thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.